Hello, Teresa Phelps Martin bringing you the energetic signature for Capricorn season, which is going to carry us from 2022 to 2023. Please know that this is an offering that comes straight from my heart to yours. Use it in the way that it is of service. Use it in a way that allows you to know you're not alone and that you can co-create your life with the support of the heavens. So you can be real, you can be true, that you can close your eyes and come home to this great sanctuary of your soul. So speaking of closing your eyes and coming home to the sanctuary of your soul, when we have the sun moving into Capricorn, we have the Capricorn solstice. Depending on if you're in the southern hemisphere, that means the first day of summer. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it is the first day of winter. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, which I'm pretty sure if you're tuning into this, that is where you reside, that it is the shortest day, the least amount of light. And so it feels like the sun is disappearing, right? It is hidden from us. I'm looking out my window, it is brown, it is green, there are no leaves, and there's a softness to the sun's light. I actually love winter because it's that chance to go home, go inward, settle down and get quiet, to really give shape and form to that inner wisdom, to slow down, to rest. And this is the part, right? The ground is freezing. The snow is coming and the light will renew when we have the solstice. Solstice literally means the sun slowing down. It is a turning point, which reminds me, 2023 is a turning point. It is a major shifting for all of us. So if you haven't tuned into other astrologers, I recommend it. YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, is a mecca of astrologers pouring forward amazing guidance. Actually, that's part of what this Saturn being in Aquarius has been, is the renaissance of the resurgence of people looking to the heavens and expanding their vision to understand how to rebuild and give structure to their life. So there is a plethora out there, and I recommend you tuning into this till the very end, but also tuning into different voices. I really, really encourage you, if you ever find yourself getting locked in to just one way of being, you're setting yourself up for pain. We are billions of people alive at this time in history. We need to realize that there is a network of support for us and watch ourselves when we get so stuck and rooted in one way. That also brings me to another part where I have had a number of you reaching out to find out if I am teaching in person. I am not teaching at all right now. Yoga, where you're the asana, I should say, where you're on a mat. I am opening myself up to coaching clients, and I do have an offer right now. And if you're interested in that, it is a 4-month journey where we really look at the start of this year, and it is being offered for $808. You will get a guidance for how to work with your natal chart. You will get an overarching look to what the year holds, and I'll unpack that a little bit as I move forward. But you can reach out to me via Messenger on Facebook, or you can email me. It is my name, Teresa Phelps Martin @gmail.com. It is not on my website. You need your own private link, but we'll meet twice a month, probably around your natal new moon and your natal full moon, so that you can really understand your energetic signature and how to co-create with that. It is sacred to you. It is a little different, so we can be flexible and work within that cycle and energy of how to work, but it ends up giving you 4 months of support. So it'll carry us from Capricorn season through until spring, into that Aries Taurus energy, which is a big deal. Okay, that being said, that takes us from earth energy to earth energy. Of course, if you started later, we would move from air energy to air energy. But just know there's a lot being offered that I don't want to spend a lot more time. So just email me, reach out, teresaphelpsmartin@gmail.com, and I can share with you more of what it is. We can even have a little chats, messaging, emailing, however you want to do it, because it is about making connection. It is, I will tell you, the cosmos are reminding us to go into the depths of who we are, heal, nourish, care for. There is a slowing down. So you'll probably end up finding you want support, and there's need for support. It is part of us stopping avoiding what we know to be true on the inside and adding more psychological flexibility to bring more meaning, to bring more fulfillment. And you're getting this layer of me as a coach with a lot more energy of not just the wisdom tool of astrology to support the intuitive guidance, but the evidence-based practices that come with acceptance and commitment therapy. But it's being packaged as a coaching project so that we can really understand how we're engaging in our lives. And so anyhow, to come, and it's going to be potent, it's going to be beautiful. And I only have room for 8 clients max. Probably realistically 4. I get ahead of myself. So I only have room for 4. One of them has already been purchased. So that makes 3. Okay, so email me if you're wanting that. So now here we are, Capricorn, right? If you want just guidance of the cosmos, listen to different voices, but you want to hone into your own voice. So this is the caveat. This is the divine paradox of it all. You want to hear other wisdom, but you need to carve out the space to hone into your own inner agency. This is what Capricorn season is all about. So for anybody who has a birthday during Capricorn season, happiest of birthdays to you. Most Capricorns I know don't identify as Capricorns because I really believe you're determined, you're strong, you do it your own way. And that is Capricorn signature. But we hear so much of Capricorn energy being in charge, boss. It's an earth energy sign, so it can be really dense. And it's during winter. Unless, of course, you're a New Year's baby, maybe you're excited. So you get kind of overlapped. I grew up with a Capricorn sister. And so you get overlapped by a lot of the other big energies because Capricorn is the worldly sign. The signature to Capricorn is, how does the world see you, right? What is this that you have projected out into the world, right? It is the wisdom. It is that energy of standing behind the podium and having authority over what you're sharing. It is the legacy you're going to leave. Capricorn signature is really this, like, how do you persevere? How do you rise up? What energy do you draw from the marrow of your bones? Because Capricorn rules the bones, and come up and out and stand in that place of darkness with your agency, with that authority, with that ability to carry on and move forward regardless of the challenges. Life here on earth is challenging, right? Think about it. Have you watched a movie that doesn't have a plot? So when we get to Capricorn, we get into the density of the story, all right? And during Capricorn season, I have shifted my efforts. I love these, and so realize my notes are all over the place. I'm a Gemini. Okay, so in Capricorn season, we have the sun standing still with the first day of winter. So we have this movement. For me personally, it's sacred. It's the new year. And for me personally, it also matters because as I'm recording this, Jupiter has ingressed into the sign of Aries. So there's this new benevolence for each of us and all of us coming forward. It is that fire and that flame of trusting in your heart's desires. And I'll unpack that. which also means the first day of winter, the sun is squared Jupiter. Jupiter is benevolent, it's auspicious, so even a square is that chance to give shape and form to our dreams, to our beliefs. How are we gonna spark the light of our heart to engage and remind us how we want to be seen in the world? What would be spoken at your eulogy is a good way to understand Capricorn. So you want to go to December 19th to December 21st to January 19th. If you're on the Pacific coast, realize the sun will enter Aquarius early in the morning on the 20th. For those of us here in Eastern time, the sun will transition into Aquarius energy late on the 19th. So with that being said, you want to look, if you're going to look at your own natal chart, you can go to astro.com, go down to horoscopes, then drop down to free horoscopes, and then drop down to chart, and then put in your birthplace, birth time, and birth date. If you don't know your birth date, put in noon. You won't want to get all caught up. Sometimes what I do is set the chart for 0 Aries, so just Aries rising, so you're not really getting caught up in the house system, because you need your birth time to really know what house, okay? So if you have an idea, like my mom says I was born at 2 in the morning, put 2 in the morning, that's closer. I was born after so-and-so played the baseball game. Oh, then you were born during baseball season. It was a big game. You could research when that game was on and get a more approximate time. Be respectful to your mother not really knowing you was pretty big event. If you were adopted, give respect that there was a lot of tension at that moment of your individuation. So you come in built to handle that adversity. And that's Capricorn signature right there. Being able to persevere through the adversity. So you're going to look to where Capricorn rules your chart. If you're Libra rising, Capricorn will rule the bottom of your chart. If you're Aries rising, Capricorn will rule the top of your chart, okay? And I can hear some of you wanting me to go through the rest of it, but I would like to not create codependence. I would like for you to really dive into understanding this beautiful map that helps you navigate your own personal journey, okay? If you're Libra rising, then we have similarities, all right? If you're Aries rising, we have similarities because they rule the relationship with yourself and your relationship with others. Okay, onward. We have a new moon in Capricorn at 1 degree happening on December 23rd. And for me, this is really, really sacred because we have Jupiter ingressing into, that means that it's moved into a new sign. We have the sun has moved into a new sign. The moon is moving into a new sign. We have this celebratory time of Christmas. I like to look at it as a celebratory time, that there is still a sparkle of light. There is hope being given in dark times, right? So we have this energy of new beginnings, new offerings, and we have a lot of earth energy. So the Mercury's in Capricorn, about to go retrograde. So Mercury's in their shadow. We have Venus in Capricorn. We have Pluto in Capricorn, the moon and the sun. That's a lot of Capricorn energy. So we really have this signature. How are you going to persevere through adversity? Now, I know that we want to hear from the cosmos that 2023 is going to be easy. It is a turning point. We have a lot of shifts and changes happening in the sky that is unique. And it's going to be a little bit of the unfolding of this pandemic, this global impact where our trajectory has really shifted. So digging into the depth of your chart of where Capricorn is going to give you, with this new moon and a lot of this Capricorn energy squaring Jupiter, how are you using this wisdom to give energy to your heart's desire, to the enthusiasm, to the expansion of pioneering a new trajectory for yourself? That is the main signature for this Capricorn new moon that's happening at 5:16 a.m. We have, right after the new moon, we have Mercury sextiling Neptune, which is really about, dreaming a bigger dream. We have this energy of feeling that ability to value the, imagine a bigger dream, right? Speak it, give a language to it, start to cultivate what those resolutions are going to be. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde, and we're going to be asked to come back to the same signature that happens on the 26th, right? No, it's not the 26th, it's the 24th. So be aware of that. Realize the winds of the winds of illusion will blow with ease, and wildly enough here in the United States, they are watching a major winter storm. Right? So there will be travel disruptions. There will be these hopes and desires getting lost. They'll come back because Mercury will go back to this and then come forward again. Okay, so that's a lot. We also have in this new moon energy the signature of Venus trining Uranus. So how are you valuing these breakthroughs that you've had, these insights into new ways of being, into new energies? And with that, how are you really making your health? We have a lot of earth energy being spoken to us with the start of the new year. Mercury will be retrograde in earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So really, how are we working with this material? What realm? How are we speaking to it? How are we connecting? How are we networking? How are we giving ourselves permission to slow down? Okay. So this is a big thing. The new moons will happen really close to the sun moving into the new sign. And during Capricorn season, the new moon's at 1 degree. Aquarius, I think it's at 2 degrees. Pisces, it's early on in the degree point. And then come Aries, it will be late in the degree point. It's like the sun will be at the end. It'll be at the apex point of being in the sign of Aries, and right before that it will have that new moon. And it's interesting because the nodes will move out of the south node being in Scorpio, the south node will move into Libra, and the north node being in Taurus will move into Aries. So we have these letting go of the secrets and the disbelief and what's been illusory and hidden from us, right? How much has come up to the surface? How much has the world started to value mental health, right? It's been really intense couple years, and that intensity doesn't fade, but now we're gonna have to let go of how we're relating, let go of the divisiveness, let go of the idea that it's you against me. We're gonna have to let go of our enemies and learn how to value that everybody has permission to breathe life into this existence, okay? That's a little bit getting ahead, but that's part of the reason why the eclipses will move into the signs of out of Taurus and Scorpio and into the signs of Aries and Libra. So just know the eclipses will be happening in different areas of your chart, which is a little nice. If you want me to do 2023 overview, please comment, please message, please tell me. I'm tired of kind of intuitively trusting. You have to speak it. This is Mercury. You must speak your needs, okay? Otherwise, I'm not going to do it because I'll just keep taking care of myself in that journey. So we will have that energy. This is that energy of the new moon. We have the full moon happening on December 6th. January. I'm not ready to move forward. That's kind of that slowing down. January 6th, the full moon in Cancer will be opposing the sun in Capricorn, and Mercury is conjunct the sun. Mercury will be retrograde because Mercury goes retrograde on the 29th. I'll come back to that. The truth is going to surface and it might sting. It might not feel good. Okay. So, however, those truths about the core of our existence, how we have tried to persevere so far of pushing harder and pushing through, I feel like that's going to be like, no. We really have to learn how to get a space to nourish and care for ourselves, care for our earth. Like, this planet that we live on, it's gonna come forward. So realize that, and you can be prepared for it. You don't need to be scared. You can just be like, all right, there is actually a buildup of energy moving towards the 6th, right? So you could even say it's the epiphany, right? And that ability to move towards the light, that's what's going to happen from the ending of December into the beginning of January. We'll have New Year's, right? And there's a lot of energy with New Year's. I'll get there, right? I'll save it, about connecting and networking and expanding your social realm, which feels good to say, right? Okay, so we have that. Mercury is retrograde. It goes from 24 degrees to 8 degrees. So you can look at that Capricorn energy of your chart again and look at what's the storyline. How are you engaging in this material realm? How are you articulating and communicating your own personal wisdom of how you've stepped forward, how you've persevered? I will tell you right now, no, I'm not teaching yoga in person. I am in a deep dive of finishing my graduate degree as a counselor, which is why I'm offering coaching, because I've got a lot of validation that the work I do is really powerful and profound. And as that counselor, I'm going to the depths with a younger generation and really helping them heal parts of wounds that they've inherited, because we have all inherited wounds. Generational. It's just how it is. I mean, think about your mother's mother, right? I'm not knocking any of your dad's dads, but think of your mother's mother's mother and how much they weren't allowed to speak. So this is really about tuning in to your inner wisdom, your inner agency, and how are you communicating in this material realm the way you want to work with this energy, with your wisdom, with the collective wisdom. And so that's why I look to the cosmos. It's an undeniable force that is guiding us forward and helping us navigate the challenges and the joys of our life, really knowing when to breathe in the opportunity that's out there. That's another thing you'll get from me is opportunistic moments with themes of how to work with that energy specifically with your own chart. It's really cool. And we just look to the chart, not to direct and guide everything, but to inform, just like I'm doing here, right? You just get more on a personal level. So again, you can email me to sign up for that. Mercury will be retrograde. It's going to go December 29th. It goes retrograde, right? It'll also go retrograde. At the same moment, it is conjunct Venus. And wildly enough, Venus was retrograde last year in Capricorn. So there's really this, like, Venus's energy has asked us to reclaim the feminine, to really understand we need the slowing down. We need to give structure to our healing. We need to be patient with ourselves. Capricorn energy is highly patient. The high vibe of it. The low vibe energy of Capricorn is pushing through and not slowing down. So Venus being conjunct, Mercury and Venus are going to have their own little meeting. And the last planet Mercury was conjunct with was the sun. So there's this sort of like, Mercury's going to share her wisdom from her private conversation with the Venus star point that happened at 29 degrees Libra back in October. There's this chance that she's going to share some of this wisdom, and Mercury is going to carry it back. Oh, shoot, I was ready to go. Carry it back, have those conversations Mercury just had, and then have them again. So retrogrades are always 3s, okay? And Mercury will be retrograde until January 8th. Sorry. I don't have it written down. It happens pretty quickly until January 18th. Oh, wow, that's wild. Okay, until January 18th, then Mercury will go direct, and then you need to give Mercury its time to revisit all those points again. Okay, and while Mercury is retrograde, it's going to have a sextile with Neptune. It'll be, obviously it has that conjunction with Venus, a sextile with Neptune. It will trine Uranus and then quincunx Mars, and then it will repeat all that, right? You may have no idea what I just said, but realize that it's going to have a conversation with the values. It's going to ask us to imagine more, dream a bigger dream, open ourselves up to breakthroughs, and then reevaluate the way we're stepping forward with this energy. That's pretty much the signature of this material realm of our values, our dreams, our breakthroughs, our cosmic intelligence, and our determination. This is that signature of Mercury retrograde. Then we have Venus entering Aquarius. And when Venus enters Aquarius, we're going to have a little shift of this energy. Mercury's in retrograde. Mars is ending its retrograde, is coming close to ending its retrograde. And while Venus, Aquarius is the water bearer, it's an air sign. It's the higher bird's eye view. It's the bigger, it's the futuristic thinking, the idea to, it's like, think about it, it's social media, it's technology, it's ability to connect and relate around the world and with space and with heavens. It is traditionally ruled by Saturn. So how are we governing our future? How are we giving structure and form? And in modern day, it is ruled by Uranus, inventive, outside of the box, new breakthroughs. It's when they discovered Uranus, there was a discovery of electricity. So it's this higher intelligence, right? It's the big picture energy. It's our hopes and dreams. It's our future self. So when Venus moves in there, she gives breath and life, not so much to the slowing down and density of this Capricorn wisdom and perseverance and patience, but there's going to feel like a kind of resurge of, okay, I have these boundaries. Now I can go network. I can go network with my future self. I can move forward with these energies. And when Venus is in Capricorn, she will trine Uranus, sextile Neptune, be conjunct, right, with Mercury. She will also retrograde. She will also be conjunct with Pluto. So this is really this last time Venus will be conjunct with Pluto. I believe it has a lot to do with reclaiming the feminine, of not pushing ourselves to burn out. Think of your mother's mother. That pattern, that feminine pattern, was to sacrifice, because ritual was sacrifice, but we're not sacrificing the feminine energy. The sacrifice, the ritual, is to slow down and pause and breathe and be patient. So there's Venus conjunct Pluto. Pluto this year in March is going to move into Aquarius. So we're having this conjunction at a point that is within a degree of where Saturn and Uranus, not Saturn and Uranus. God, Uranus is Aquarius energy. When Saturn and Jupiter entered Aquarius, right? We have that Star of Bethlehem. We have that guiding light, that energy where they were in the sky at the same point that, think about it. The wise men followed that light to find the Immaculate Conception from that Christian perspective. But they are now, because of technology, believing that it was when Saturn and Jupiter were conjunct in the sky. So Venus is conjunct Pluto at a very similar point. So what values have surfaced for you in this new trajectory, this new life? What has really been transformed? What truth can come forward? And when Venus is conjunct Pluto, it is the value of the depths. It can be loving. It can be like rock your world. And that happens on New Year's, right? So realize there's that energy, that faded moment of new transformation. And it's just really significant because Mars and Venus entered Aquarius last year at that same degree point. So this is just a degree point that we've experienced significantly for the past 2 years. All right. And then Venus will move into Aquarius and she'll be sextile Jupiter. That's her first aspect. So it's really like, what do you do when you put air on fire? It's expansive. It blows up. There's really this chance to value your heart's desires. And then we have trine Mercury. And that trine of Mercury is, they're like, okay, Venus is like, I've had these conversations. You've been in retrograde. Here's how you can value our new direction and work in this place of not so much push and pull, but really valuing. Think about all this energy of permission to work from home, to have technology to connect us. I mean, that's been the expansion of the mental health world, is that people who didn't have access to support before can do it from their own home. If you're a caretaker, you don't have to drive around. If you have children who want to seek help, you don't have to take out from your life and stop your schedule and their schedule to drive them, wait them. There's a convenience to caring for ourselves. So how can we pull back and give energy to these conveniences to feel supported and not be ashamed of it, right? We need one another. I feel like that is the turning point of 2023, is the wake-up call to no longer relying on your own strength. Like, it's unavoidable. We realize we need one another. And Mars, okay? This is the other big energy that happens, is that Mars will go direct. Mars is in Gemini. It's impacting me a lot in a lot of ways. Mars is a heated planet. Gemini is a masculine planet. Mars wants to go forward. So when Mars starts to go forward, we're going to feel momentum. We're going to feel this place of looking at how we've reviewed and reflected on the articulation of our own storyline within our environment, within that ability to network. I mean, I am networking with a whole new crowd of people who I am so grateful for. They are deeply aligned in that ability to advocate for mental health. But there's been a slowdown personally, and then it's going to speed up again, and we're going to feel this energy and this drive. If you are an air sign, you felt this a lot. Mars being retrograde has impacted you. If you are a Gemini, especially from like May 30th to June 19th, the very end point of Gemini season, you're being hit hard. If you have any planets in that part of your chart that are Gemini, they're being invoked. So if it's another malefic of Saturn, you've had to really learn some new choices. You're being asked. Now, where this is in your chart is different. I was reading somebody's chart as a party because I sometimes get so excited. I'm like, hey, if I know you and we're reconnecting, a fellow Gemini reconnecting with another Gemini who I value. She's an amazing and beautiful person. I was able to look at her chart. I was like, oh my God, you've been in this place of revisiting just choices around your relationship. Then she stopped. She's like, can I pay you for a reading? Because it was making a lot of sense to her. So this is the power to it. It's to ease up some of the internal struggles you have. And Mars in Gemini is asking you to reflect on that storyline. What is your inner articulation, and how can you speak that forward? How can you carry it forward? Like, I will always be a yoga teacher. I will always bring the gifts of yoga forward. I will always share ways to connect to your mind, body, and soul. That's never going away. It's just the shape and form in which I've done it for a long time is not where I'm supposed to be putting my energy right now. And COVID tried to tell me that. Cancer tried to tell me that. And I have something else going on in my hips and pelvis, and that is being communicated right now. So it's this reprogramming of our drive, our determination, and our vision. So just know that come January 18th, we're going to feel this movement forward. And it's going to be added because then the sun will enter Aquarius and will be giving birth to these new dreams and these hopes and this ability to pour forward the wisdom that we've gained, to share it with humanity as a whole, because that's Aquarius energy. All right. I'm sorry. Mars goes direct January 12th, not January 18th. That's when Mercury goes direct. Okay. And while Mars is direct. Oh, that's funny. I didn't write down any of its aspects. But just realize Mars is going to revisit. It makes a quincunx with Mercury in retrograde. So it's carrying on the message of how are we in that dialogue? How are we speaking to our way of persevering through the challenges? How are we showing up to not just like fight and hustle and work harder, but really give ourselves that permission to slowing down? Because the last aspect that Mars makes is this quintile to Mercury. It's a really subtle energy. And then the first aspect that Mars makes moving forward is the quintile to Mercury. And then we will have, once the sun is in Aquarius and all the way to January, end of January, it'll make a trine with the sun. Right? So that's a sweet thing of like, okay, then there'll be an ease of how we're carrying this new masculine energy forward, our drives, our goals, our determination, which is why it's a good time to work with somebody. Okay, so that is the main signature for Capricorn season. I want to add just a little flavor and a little fun, okay? Starting with the sun ingressing into Capricorn, we have the sun square Jupiter. It's really like, how are you expanding the dreams to work with more of your own wisdom? How are you using your wisdom to pour in and give the boundaries to your heart's true aspirations? And how can you bring enthusiasm to that? Then we have Venus trining Uranus retrograde is really about valuing these breakthroughs, valuing this new wisdom that's come to the surface. Again, we have Capricorn new moon happening on the 23rd. We have Mercury sextiling Neptune, which I said, that'll be the first aspect. Once Mercury conjunct Venus, then it goes back to Neptune and says, actually, I have new values for these new dreams and to dream a bigger dream. And then we have Venus sextiling Neptune, and Venus is like, yeah, I told Mercury this, now I'm telling you, we're doing it differently. Or I'm about to go tell Mercury, let's make it easy. Let's carry this wisdom. I'm going to carry it to Mercury. Then Mercury is going to carry it back to you. These illusions, these illusions that are actually falling away right now. All right. And then we have that big winter storm that's hopefully past us, but we have a lot of water energy flowing through. We have the sun quincunx Mars. So again, that's that subtle energy. What's that drive? Mars loves to be in Capricorn, by the way. So if you have Mars in Capricorn, lucky you, it's very happy there. You're just somebody who's always going to follow through. And then we have Venus conjunct Pluto. I talked about that on the 1st. And it's really that energy of where you can really there's powerful loving vibes. Just know that through that connection that we've all been through a lot, and we can socialize and connect. Then that first week of January, there's kind of like the encouragement to stop ruminating and start to brainstorm. Why? Because we have that Mercury sextile Neptune, the moon is in Taurus, and we can allow for an emotional warmth to really give us these breakthroughs to these ideas. So give yourself time on the 2nd to put a vision forward, these values of your own vision, your dreams. A lot of this energy that we've been feeling, this watery energy, a very spiritual and soulful connection. And then you can value your heart's desire, where you can be true, because Venus will sextile Jupiter. And then you're going to find on the 5th, lots of energy for breakthroughs. The sun is going to be trine Uranus retrograde. So we're going to feel that encouragement to try something new, because the next time the sun will be in an easy relationship with Uranus is that time when the sun will be in Taurus and Uranus will be direct, because Uranus goes direct in January. But the sun's going to have some challenging aspects first, okay? So then we have the full moon on the 16th, where we really want to ground, that sort of saying, like, are you all talk and no show, right? Like, are you you're going to say you're going to do something, but you don't do it? Ground that energy of caring for yourself. It's about pausing and breathing and really reconnecting. And then we're going to find that when the sun is conjunct that Mercury retrograde right after the moon. So anytime the sun is conjunct a planet, anytime a planet is conjunct, they're in their own meeting. Like, we will not be able to see Mercury when it's conjunct the sun. So it's having its own personal meeting, and Mercury is retrograde. And so this is the big theme of Mercury being retrograde, is it's communicating with the sun. So there's a lot of new wisdom that will come forward with how we're slowing down, how we're narrating and connecting and communicating the wisdom with him. And then on January 8th, we're going to speak forward those new concepts, because we have Mercury talking to Uranus now. Remember, the sun was talking to Uranus. Okay, there's been breakthroughs. It's undeniable that we have to do it differently. Here's the cosmic intelligence at the next level. Realize Mercury and Uranus are retrograde, so they're going to have this trine again. And so instead of ruminating, you can brainstorm. You can find ways to improve the world. January 2nd is when Venus goes into Aquarius. So that improvement for the world, like how do we value that kind of longer journey here? Like my kids' children, like stop saying that we're killing the earth and start doing something. Maybe you just start recycling more. Maybe you have the ability to compost. Maybe you have the ability to buy things that are more recycled, although maybe Amazon will take greater responsibility for how much it gets material things out into the world. It's also this chance to really, during Capricorn season, this chance to boost your confidence, your inner worth, your sense of self. And part of that is because of these trines with Uranus. And then on the 9th, the moon will have moved into Leo. We want to choose wisely and reconsider that vision. Why? Because that's when Venus is trine Mars retrograde. We're going to find that those first few weeks of January, we see the doors opening. We see the opportunity. It is a turning point, but the big understandings of how collectively we're going to turn will be unfolding for the next few years. Okay, so it's not just like, oh yeah, back to good old easy times again. There are positive vibes that second week of January, and it's a chance to network and feel the momentum because Mars goes direct. You can find that all those choices that you've been reviewing now have momentum and direction. And then we have Venus squaring Uranus retrograde. So she's like, wait a second, I thought we were doing this way, but now we have to go back and look at what needs to be changed. We need to be mindful. There's going to be some edge in the air that third week of January. And in that edge, we feel that closing those last end points of the sun transiting through Capricorn because it's going to hit all those points that were ignited in 2020. Okay, so we're going to feel into that edge again because remember, Pluto's going to be moving into Aquarius in March. We have Jupiter that is going to fly through Aries and Saturn's going to move into Pisces. The nodes are going to change. So we're starting to feel some of that edge because we're hitting those points that have been activated for the world. And, but we're going to find our autonomy comes, that clarity returns when Mercury goes direct on the 18th. We find that the sun will shift into Aquarius and that the moon will be in Sag when it makes that shift. So there's a sweetness to it, but we're in that place of really revealing kind of the unraveling that has happened the past 2 years. And is it just the pandemic? Yes, but it's also these celestial changes that we get to be alive for. So, and on the 21st, I'm going to jump into Aquarius season. There's like a chance to get out of your comfort zone and start something new, to do it differently and explore those new horizons. I thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like I've talked for a while. But in that place, we went week by week. I didn't go as much through phase of moon to phase of moon, but really this energy of being in Capricorn season, giving structure, new foundation. Really, how are you communicating with this inner world, this inner foundation? How are you giving structure to this new journey in your life? And if you are still with me, I highly encourage you to invite in this next level of connection to your inner self, to your soulful self. You know, one of the things that I am referring to myself is I'm a mind, body, soul, and I coach, I counsel, and I consult. So where you draw in is really important for yourself, to breathe life into your soul, to give the bones of your being permission to ease up and connect to this cosmic guidance, this bigger vision that gets you out of your comfort zone. We're all out of our comfort zone, but trusting in this new wisdom, right? Trusting in this new wisdom. So if you're not going to work with me, work with somebody. Check your insurance to see if you can have a counselor. I just highly recommend you realizing that you're not here to rely on your own ways, that idea of sacrificing, of burning out, of going hard, but really working with this new technology of life and valuing your heart's desire, right? And giving voice to that and moving forward with it. It will not be easy. Earth School is hard, but we don't have to do it alone. You aren't alone. You have so much guidance available to you. So it's about investing in those parts of you and valuing your innermost self, getting your life in order, bringing that energy forward and enjoying what is available to you. So if you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment even. If you just want to know more, you can go to my website. It is teresaphelpsmartin.com. If you're on Facebook, enjoy the daily wisdom. Please like, comment, invite friends to share in the group. If you're not part of the Facebook group, it is a private group, but I let you in. It's not like you have to pay. And I put kind of daily contemplations in there based on the transits of the heavens for you to kind of plant that daily connection, which is important for this year with Mercury Retrograde Earth signs, Saturn moving into Pisces, Pluto moving into Aquarius. We just have to really be open to doing things new and different by really healing those deep wounds of our soul. And that's not just yours, it's just the world. You know, we've gotten used to functioning in chaos, but we don't want to undermine what's really happening. So draw into that extra support, feel the expansion of your heart. Have a wonderful New Year's celebration, however you choose. Know that the cosmos are encouraging that celebration. Just watch that place of, you know, you can bring more beauty to the world and you might make connection with those who can help you bring the beauty, but just pause, right? Don't race into big new relationships yet. Know that you're still unfolding, they're still unfolding, but keep that connection strong. Know that there's a little faded energy to why you are where you are and connecting with whom you are connecting. And I will be with you at the mid-end of January for the Aquarius signature. And I look forward to knowing how you are navigating and co-creating in your life so you can be real, be true, and be so fully you. Thank you.